Okay, so I'm not fully back, but I thought I had enough time to work on a video, so I'm just choosing an idea from the poll I made on my community tab. And I feel like this kind of video would be good to make in a short amount of time without needing a script. So if it sounds a bit disjointed and unorganized, that might be why this video is unscripted. But I've seen a couple of other YouTube channels make similar videos to this, but I think I have enough differing opinions on this to warrant this being a video. The main thing I want in a Half-Life 3 is more immersive sim elements, and I'm gonna bring up some other points to that all connect back to this. So, what do I mean by make Half-Life as a series more like an immersive sim? Well, I think that Half-Life should have more emergent gameplay. In case you don't know, emergent gameplay is basically just you have a bunch of systems that work in a game, and it can lead to certain things that even the developer doesn't even intend to happen. Like they're not glitches, but they're just a result out of the behavior of whatever logic you put on uh, certain things. Like in Deus Ex, if you put down a landmine on a wall, normally they're meant to blow people up on detonation, but people found them to be useful for platforming to get to higher surfaces by just putting them on the wall and just building a staircase out of landmines. You can also do this in Half-Life 1, by the way, which is interesting. So, yeah, so I kind of missed the laser trip mines from Half-Life 1. As it stands right now, Half-Life as a series, it's way too linear, and there are opportunities to have emergent gameplay, but none to solve any certain obstacles. Usually, with any obstacles or objectives, you only have one way to solve them. And that's really a shame because there's been immersive sims that have been made in the Source engine. And like I said in a previous video, there was almost a sequel to Opposing Force, which was an immersive sim game made by Arcane Studios, but that got scrapped. And it's such a shame. It's this close to becoming an immersive sim, Half-Life as a series. And I have reason to believe that it's on its way there because on top of all the leaks that we're getting for HLX, there's been one recent hire from Arcane Studios or someone who used to work at Arcane Studios, and they're hired by Valve currently now. And they have some projects that they have on their itch page where you can see their level design. So if you want to get like a feel for how like maybe HLX would feel, I guess you could like go to her itch page and you could see how the level design feels in those. And I've personally like tried them out, and yeah, they seem like pretty good. I got reminded of Valve, Half-Life 2 particularly in this one level design jam where you could pick up physics objects and like throw them, and yeah, that just screams Half-Life 2. And there's a battery puzzle too. And I liked how expansive the level design jam entry was and how you could explore in a non-linear way, which brings me to my next point. Another thing that I would like to see in Half-Life 3 would be non-linear level design, which was a huge thing in Half-Life 1, although I feel like most people might have missed certain sections which were optional, like these certain rooms that you would have to backtrack to get inside of. But I do feel like the Half-Life 2 beta did experiment with non-linear level design. Like there was one map in City 17 where you could walk around and you would see how there would be vents that would open up that scanners would emerge out of, and you could jump down into them and explore the sewers and come back out. And that was just some crazy stuff that I kind of wish got added to the retail game, but just never happened. In case you want to play that kind of non-linear level design, there is a mod out there called Dark Interval Part 2, which does have this type of level design in most of the game, or most of the mod. And I found the level design to be actually very good. You can really tell that the mod developers heavily playtested their levels because I never found myself getting stuck on any of the puzzles for too long. And that's what Valve does also. I had a lot of fun playing the mod, and I think it really shows the potential of non-linear level design in Half-Life. Because of the wide variety of weapons in Half-Life 1, it led to emergent gameplay. And it was unfortunate that Half-Life 2 had a smaller weapon variety than Half-Life 1, which didn't lead to as much combat planning. I just hope that in Half-Life 3, there will be a wider variety of weapons that do different things. Because I think it's a problem between the SMG and pulse rifle, which are like basically the same archetype of weapon. They did have different alt fires, but they're relatively the same kind of weapon on a fundamental level. Um, it did seem interesting in what we saw in the Half-Life 2 documentary of the footage that they released for Half-Life 2 Episode 3, where they had an ice gun. And I do feel like that type of weapon can lead to immersive sim emergent gameplay. And that's really exciting. I would like to see Zen enemies making a comeback. We already have head crabs, but they're basically in every Half-Life game. I just want like hound eyes, bull squids, something. I remember Vortigons were pretty fun to fight against in Half-Life 1, though the main problem with them was that if you had lack of cover in the middle of a hallway, they would just like kill you. But my thinking is, you have the gravity gun now. You can take cover with you. So that solves that problem. I do know that because of lore reasons, Vortigons no longer fight you, which is pretty unfortunate. They were pretty fun to fight. So maybe you can make an alternative enemy that acts the same as Vortigons, similar to what Valve did for the worker antlions, which just act like bull squids but with less health. In Half-Life 1, there was also a bunch of interesting AI behavior which not many people got to see, such as cockroaches scurrying away from light and bull squids getting distracted by meat that fell on the floor from those like hanging freezer meat thingies. Maybe not as minuscule as those details, but I think if it were expanded to have meaningful gameplay opportunities, I think it would add to emergent gameplay. The last thing I'd want in Half-Life 3, this is not related to emergent gameplay, but I would want the removal or at least the minimization of scripted sequences that are unskippable and cutscenes. For the most part, I think Half-Life as a series stands out from other games because it doesn't have that many cutscenes. Look at you, God of War, and Last of Us Part 2, fucking, what, like 5 hours of cutscenes in total? Crazy. Um, but even if you have the scripted sequences where you still kind of have control over your character and you can walk around in these areas, I still feel that on replays, they're a bit of a drag to play through again. Um, I do feel like Half-Life 1 and 2, they're both replayable in different areas. If you're the average player who doesn't know how to use console commands, Half-Life 1's intro is an absolute drag to go through because you've already seen everything, so the novelty just wears off. But then the intro to Half-Life 2, it's a much faster experience to get into the gameplay. But in the middle of Half-Life 2, there's a bunch of these rooms that you're stuck in until these choreographed scenes are finished with these characters giving you exposition and whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though scripted sequences are a better alternative compared to cutscenes, I feel like there might be one step above scripted sequences where it's interactive and doesn't affect replayability. I don't know exactly what that might look like, and it might be really hard to playtest because people might skip past it and not know the story because they're not being forced into a room until whatever story dump is finished. But I feel like if Valve puts in the effort in the series that is known for redefining how to tell stories in video games, I think that would be cool. But that would just be what I would want if I was working on the series. So I don't know. Probably Valve's probably not gonna add something like that. They're just gonna stick to what they have currently. I think they're just gonna stick to innovations in gameplay and tech, not story. I don't really know where to go from here, so I think I'll end the video here. If you've liked listening to me yap, you can leave a like, share the video, and subscribe. If you want to support me more directly, I have a Patreon in my channel bio. And yeah, that's it. See ya.